demeanor and professionalism, way he approaches the game is very impressive.
No do-rag this weekend.
No.
But no sleeves as well, so halfway there for Ben Friedman. He'll be playing against Jesse Newbold. Jesse Newbold playing mono black aggro when we were in Providence too. Those making the top 8. And Newbold off to a 4-1 start here. He'll be fast and furious with a gnarled Scarhide. As Friedman starting off with a beautiful. That could be very telling of a bad start.
Or just nothing to do with double colored. But yeah, there is some possibility of him missing, maybe missing white mana.
Newbold going with the white bordered land approach. Making our job easy and painful. As here comes an attack for 2. And Friedman going to play a Devour Flesh to get that gnarled Scarhide off the table. The follow-up play will be a Spiteful Return before passing the turn back. Also last weekend when we were in Portland, Gabe Carlton Barnes making the top 8 with this deck before being dispatched by the champion Rob Hunsaker playing Naya Hexproof.
This matchup, in my experience playing mono black aggro, this is black-white mid-range is about the worst matchup.
Doesn't feel good.
It's all spot removal into Blood Baron.
Yeah.
So that's really hard to beat when you're all black creatures.
The one thing about Ben to keep in mind is that he is actually, he's not playing any gray mercenary, so he's not really this devotion base. And when at the Invitational, he wasn't playing Blood Baron then, and he's not playing Blood Baron again. He's got Obsidat instead. So he always opts to go without Blood Baron.
Ramping into Obsidat is nearly as good.
Yeah, I mean, it's still tough to beat.
Yeah.
Obviously, as here's a Mogus and Marauder, it's going to give itself haste and get in the red zone here. As 2 copies of Devour Flesh have really stymied Jesse.
It's just hard to beat. They can keep pace with you early on in the game, and their creatures are all brutal.
Yeah. Here's a Lifebane Zombie. Going to show you 3 white bordered lands, so Friedman's got to be thrilled about that. One thing I've always found about mono black aggro is that it's very, very important for this deck to draw a Mutavault.
Yes. Well, I think that you need to play 4 Mutavaults, probably 22 or 23 lands, and basically every bestow creature available to give you the maximum hedging against flooding out.
There is a Mutavault, but this is a Desecration Demon here for Friedman. Newbold's going to draw a card for the turn, and he draws another copy of Mutavault, so speak of the devil, and they shall appear.
The issue that I had with mono black aggro is that you need to play, some number of removal spells because you have to answer creatures because every creature can at least block against you, which is really potent. And every removal spell in Standard comes with certain liabilities. Either the 2 mana spells, whether it's Bioblight, Doomblade, Ultimate Price, those don't line up with everything. Hero's Downfall is 3 mana and double black, which you don't always have. So if you don't have the right removal for the right threats here, certain cards like this are going to be really hard to beat. And of Jesse's 8 removal spells, 3 of them are Bioblights. He does have 3 Hero's Downfalls and 2 Ultimate Prices, which beat this demon, but not a lot of answers to this.
Looks like we're going to fire up maybe a Mutavault or 2 here. Newbold a little unsure if he wants to fire these up just yet. 3 mana. Looks like it's going to be a copy of Mogus' Marauder. It can give itself haste. And now we'll fire up a Mutavault. And it's time to come into the red zone here for 4. We'll see if Friedman has anything to do about that.
Yeah, Jesse nearly animated the second Mutavault. I think he thought better of it playing around Bioblight here.
Mutavault's going to attempt to trade. You see Friedman does have a Bioblight. So going to get a bunch of stuff off the table. And Ben's card's actually in reserve. Or it looks like 2 copies of Underworld Connection, so he's doing quite well for himself.
Ben's at 18 right now.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of that. Here is Underworld Connections. Desecration going to come in for 6. Newbold's going to go down to 10. And Friedman just going to pass the turn back. With the connections at the ready, Newbold does draw a copy of Thoughtseize. That's a little late to the party. And there is Underworld Connections. It's going to go to the bin. Jesse going to fire up his Mutavault, going to come in here, put Ben down to 16. Let's make it 15 after a Connections activation. But I think Ben Friedman's going to go on to win this game in just a moment.
Yeah, he would have to get very unlucky to not be able to win from here.
Going to activate Connections in the main phase. Friedman going to go down to 14. New card coming. Looks like a Lifebane Zombie was picked up. Desecration Demon trigger placed on the stack. Jesse may have some interest in sacrificing his Mutavault to stop this. You see the swamp in his hand. And Newbold says, that's fine, I'll go down to 2. Lifebane Zombie here for Friedman. Going to show the swamp before passing the turn back over to Newbold, who will take a draw. It's a copy of Hero's Downfall, and we will pack it in. So Ben Friedman's going to win game number 1 here over Jesse Newbold. Black-white mid-range up a game over mono-black aggro.
This matchup is, I can't say it enough. This is a really brutal matchup for mono-black aggro.
And I think the bad thing here for mono-black aggro, and you have his deck list in front of you, is that there's not a lot of help in the sideboard either.
3 copies of Doomblade, not a lot of help to be had there. 4 Duress, 2 Deathrite Shaman, 3 Dark Betrayal, 2 Lifebane Zombie, and a Zathra Necromancer. I think you can bring in the Zathra Necromancer, the Dark Betrayals, and the some number of the Duress copies. I don't think you can go all the way up to 4 duresses. It's just too hard to play that many reactive cards in the matchup. But a few of them could be well suited here.
On Friedman's side, he's got 2 Duress, 2 Sin Collector, Whip of Erebos, 2 Bioblight, 2 Doomblade, an Ultimate Prize, the Banishing Light, Honorable Connections, a Deicide, an opposite deck goes Council to go along with his tune in his main deck, and an Erebos, God of the Dead. Gotta love the Deicide. There are a lot of enchantment creatures to kill, so that's going to come in. I expect to see Ultimate Price come in as well, as most of these creatures outside of Rakdos Cackler are just 1 color. And then 2 more Bioblights, so you have a little bit more spot removal. You could board in Sin Collector if you'd like a body to try to block and take a removal spell with, even though I don't think the matchup is a ton about that. And then Banishing Light does a nice job of cleaning up maybe a Herald of Torment or a Spiteful Return.
All the removal spells are good in this matchup. And the Deicide is good as well. It's a weird element of the mono black aggro list that so many of the creatures are enchantment creatures that you can bring in enchantment removal. Golgari Charm is very powerful. The -1/-1 mode is very good on Golgari Charm as well, but also the fact that cards like Herald of Torment are enchantments as well. I mean, the Deicide is a lot better against mono black aggro than, say, mono red aggro.
Yeah. It's a pretty straightforward matchup here for Ben, all things considered. You just want to kill things and stay alive.
Yeah,
That's the goal.
It's pretty easy, you know, just always keep your head above water and make your land drops and play one of your large threats. It's very hard for Jesse to beat that recipe.
Well, both players will finish sideboarding up here in just a moment. Game number 2, will be underway. But we will talk about where we're going to have not 1, but 2 tournaments in the very near future. Baltimore is going to have a bunch of opens here with our Standard Open, our Legacy Open, and soon to be our Modern Premier IQ.
It's going to be the debut, and we're going to have them every Sunday in the Open Series, starting in Baltimore, July 19th and 20th. Every Sunday, starting at 10 a.m., we're going to have a Modern Premier IQ. That's $5,000 in cash prizes. Top 4 get invites to the invitationals, points for all participants, side events prizes, the whole shebang. And we wanted to give some Modern support to the Open Series without interfering with Standard or Legacy. So we have this finally set up for you in Baltimore, starting 10 a.m. Every Sunday. We're still going to be doing the Legacy Opens. They're still going to be the focus of our coverage. We're actually rolling them out a little bit earlier, starting at 9 a.m. rather than 10 a.m. as they historically have been, to try to get out of the tournament halls a little bit earlier. But these Premier IQs are coming to the Open Series in Baltimore, and stores, you can also register for these the same way that you register for IQs right now. We have a couple of them already ready to go here. You see in Tampa, Tacoma, Knoxville, Denver, Roseville, Minnesota, more on the way. So you can apply for these IQs using the same resources you already do. Players, get a hold of your store, your tournament organizer, whatever. Get these Premier IQs. We're very excited about them. On the store level, they don't have to be Modern, but for all the Open Series events, they will be Modern.
Modern action coming, 2 weeks. Before I know it, I'm going to be in Baltimore.
Yep.
I already know it. I'm just going to wake up one day, take a flight, be looking at Camden Yards, go into the Noodles and Company in the Inner Harbor.
It is really interesting to me that, you know, you have this opportunity, travel all around the country, go to different cities, see landmarks, dining opportunities you don't get anywhere else. And the thing that's on your mind, going to Inner Harbor, Maryland, is the Noodles and Company.
Well, first of all, I am who I am. And second of all, there are no Noodles and Company in Seattle, Washington. Okay. So what am I supposed to do?
Sure, that's fair.
It's like a tourist destination. It's like judging me for going to California eating In-N-Out Burger.
No, because I would say that In-N-Out Burger is more of a known regional entity than Noodles and Company is. Like when you say In-N-Out Burger, you know you got to be in California or Vegas basically to get that. Noodles and Company, that's all over the place.
East Coast.
Ish. And Indianapolis has them.
That's Midwest, sure. Look, I don't have them and I like them.
Just saying, of the things to do in various locations.
Wait, you want me to go eat crab cakes?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I will. Because crab cakes are really good.
They are really good.
They are really good, yeah.
It's a Baltimore delicacy.
They are quite good. You know, crab cakes are unreasonably expensive. I will say that.
You got to actually go into the water and pull the thing out. I mean, that's some labor.
I don't think that making pasta is exactly easy.
But you have to go into the water and pull out a living creature. That's just more effort.
I feel like it's 2014 and we found a very easy way to do that with nets and things. It's not as hard as I think you're making it out to be.
Have you ever tried to catch crabs?
No.
They're actually quite challenging.
Are they feisty? They are feisty.
They can be a little, sometimes they don't go along with the process.
Oh, see about that.
Okay.
I'll let you know how it goes when I try. Tormented Hero to start here for Newbold. Friedman going to play Temple of Silence. Take a look at the top card, giving this a long thought before moving forward.
So Jesse has a pretty solid curve in his hand here. A throw kill for next turn?
A card that is a card that we did not see Gabe Carlson Barnes play last weekend. He played 4 copies of Pain Seer in his main deck. No throw kills throughout a 75.
I like a Pain Seer quite a bit.
I'm a fan. I like throw kill a lot too, though. I think it depends on the metagame that you're expecting.
Yeah, it's definitely throw kill is nice against the Caryatid Courser decks. Hard for them to block that.
And there is the Assassin. It will be unleashed. It's 2-3, so Newbold with a pretty good start here. And there's a Pack Rat in the way. Jesse will take a draw here. We'll see if Ben has any interest in blocking or if Newbold has a removal spell to even prevent that from being a thing. And it looks like Jesse does have a copy of Bile Blight in his hand. Looks like he may fire off a discard spell to start. He does. So here's a Thoughtseize. We'll take a look at Friedman's hand. Got a couple of lands over there in Temple of Silence and Godless Shrine. And he has a Bile Blight, a Wreath of Bones, looks like a Banishing Light, and a Desecration Demon, excuse me.
This is one of the reasons that Thoughtseize is not nearly as powerful in mono black aggro as it is in, say, mono black devotion. Because you're playing with a bunch of 2/1s, you care about every card your opponent has. It's either a creature or a removal spell, something. Mono black devotion can ignore large portions of what the opponent is doing, and so Thoughtseize amplifies the fact that your opponent is already kind of mulliganing a little bit over the course of the game. Less so the case here. Like, what do you take out of this hand?
I think in this situation, depending on if there are multiples over there in Newbold's hand, I would actually take Banishing Light because it's my belief that Friedman's turn, he's going to have to play something untapped. So I think you probably want to take the spell that costs the most because it'll kind of put him off curve of having to just like pay 2, cast Banishing Light, and just leave a Mutavault up so he's not as efficient. Going to take care of the Pack Rat and come across here for 4.
I think that he wants to just try to strand Ben without a way to do something proactive. He can try to fight off these removal spells with what he has left over, but the demon represents a unique challenge he might not be able to answer.
Going to take 2 from the Godless Shrine. Now here's Banish Light to take care of the Thrill Kill Assassin. So again, Friedman does have a Bile Blight left. We'll see if Newbold's able to rebuild pretty quickly here. Looks like he drew a copy of Herald of Torment. I just feel like you can slog past the Desecration Demon in this situation, and I wouldn't want my opponent to have 2 removal spells. If I was Jesse with that Thoughtseize a turn ago.
It's all very close.
I mean, that much to be sure.
Yeah. And the fact that he doesn't necessarily have a 4th mana on time makes the demon maybe a little less important.
Lifebane Zombie is going to hit.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. See, Ben is not thrilled. Actually, one of the things that makes Ben's deck nice is that he only has 2 Obsidians in his main deck and the one in his sideboard. So Lifebane Zombie actually isn't the all-star that it is a lot of the time in this sort of matchup where the opponent has 4 Blood Barons and some number of Obsidians.
Right.
The chances of that card actually hitting are very low, and especially casting Lifebane Zombie after you Thoughtseize and see your opponent doesn't have a white creature. You're very fortunate there for Newbold.
Yeah, Jesse doesn't really have a lot else going on there. He could have cast his Herald or his Gnarled Scar, but I think he wants to save those cards as a hedge in the event that he floods out. So I like playing the Lifebane Zombie that turn regardless, but he was definitely fortunate to get a little bit extra out of it.
There's a Bile Blight to take care of the zombie, so 2 damage will come across here. Now Newbold, see a threat he wants to play. He could play 2 creatures this turn, in Gnarled Scarhide and Spiteful Return. He could just play Herald of Torment. Got a lot of options. Looks like he's going to go with the 3/3 fly before passing the turn back over to Friedman, who will take a draw here.
I like playing the Herald there because the other 2 creatures in Jesse's hand effectively have haste if he draws a 4th land, where the Herald does not.
3 mana. This is a Read the Bones. Ben's going to go down to 6 to take a look. Probably not the best feeling in the world. Friedman looking at a Hero's Downfall and a Mystery card. Don't have a great look at that. From the Scry.
You feel like he almost has to block with Mutavault this turn.
Yeah, almost. And the other card in Ben's card in his hand, the last one is Devour Flesh. So it is a removal spell to take care of the Tormented Hero. Now Ben's just going to pass the turn back. Newbold going to draw a card. It's not a land, so no bestows just yet. Ultimate Price is actually what he found. You have to imagine the red zone is the place he's going to be in just a moment. So does attack here for 5. Of course, taking 1 from the Herald of Torment trigger on his turn. Friedman going to cast Devour Flesh. Yes. Tormented Hero going to go to the graveyard. 5 damage going to come across here. Excuse me, 3 damage going to come across. Friedman going to go down to 5.
I think if I'm Jesse here, I just empty out the reserves.
Yeah, just drop him on. What's the worst that could happen?
Merciless Eviction, but that is unlikely.
That would really be something, though. That would really.
But that is the worst thing that can happen here.
There is a worse thing that can happen. You are correct. And the Idiot Brigade did get dropped in spite of return to Gnarled Scarhide. Ultimate price in the chamber here for Newbold.
The Idiot Brigade.
There they are.
A motley crew.
Whatever it takes to clean it up.
It's still not impossible for Ben to get out of this. He needs to have 2 removal spells that can target Herald and Spiteful returned.
Mm-hmm.
But he does have a Mutavault that can trade with the Scarhide.
Looks like Ben has something here. 2 mana. All right, there's a Pack Rat.
That doesn't do it.
I don't think that does it. This trigger on Herald on the stack. Ben's probably hoping that Jesse makes some sort of mistake here. But especially when Jesse has an ultimate price, it's not going to do it.
Yeah, I'm fine just casting the ultimate price here. Just
Yeah,
to
me
be sure.
too. And Ben is going to pick up his permanent. So Jesse Newbold's going to win game number 2 here over Ben Friedman. We are tied up in mono black aggro versus black white mid range.
That Lifebane Zombie was a really important piece there. I mean, the way the game was pacing there, Ben was definitely going to get to that Obsidian. So that Lifebane Zombie was really important.
Yeah, and that Obsidian could have turned things around in a hurry.
Oh, it's better than... Obsidian's one of those cards where it's better than Jesse's deck on the table, almost. It's just so big, swings the damage race so convincingly.
Time to talk about our dual Open Series weekend that is happening September 27th and the 28th. We'll be in Jersey and Indy. Edison and Indianapolis is where we'll be, and you and Matthias will be taking care of things in Jersey.
Yeah, we originally scheduled this as Indianapolis, but we added a second date here. We, reconfigured the coverage team a little bit, so Matthias and I will be in New Jersey covering that event. Indianapolis still happening as usual, and this is a first for SCGWOR Games. Now, we run multiple events during the invitational weekends, but that's all kind of in the same place. This is the first time we have 2 Open Series events in different parts of the United States. Pretty exciting stuff, and if this goes well, maybe this becomes a more regular thing.
This could lead to so much more.
Maybe we'll end up having commentary competitions where we have 2 covered events.
Oh my goodness. Bring it on.
Bring it on.
Bring it on. I challenge anyone to a duel.
You want a solo? Just me against you, heads up.
Just one man in the booth.
One man in the booth?
Yeah, just doing play-by-play and color commentary. That might be tough. That might be pretty difficult. But, that would be fun.
I'm just saying, it's good to try things once. Just test the waters, see if see if we can manage it.
So just you in Jersey and just me in Indy. Indy's my old stomping grounds anyway. That's a former home for me.
Yeah, that's perfect.
We'll send you over to that garbage water hole that is Jersey, unless you get to work there. Nothing personal, of course.
No, it's okay.
No. I actually don't hate Jersey. I like making fun of Jersey, but I don't hate Jersey.
Yeah, that's the way that everyone is about it.
It's just kind of whatever.
It's a weird thing.
It's just a fun place to make fun of.
Well, I think there's sort of this dueling thing where people make fun of Jersey, which ratchets up the residents' passion and intensity for Jersey, which ratchets up the mockery. It's sort of this loop that feeds itself.
Here's the thing: the shore didn't help you guys.
Those people aren't from New Jersey. They had to get them from New York and Rhode Island.
I did know that.
Okay.
I did know that, but a lot of people don't know that, and so it did not help you guys at all.
Right.
And I'm really sorry about the situation and everybody else that did that to your great state.
If they ever had the Cleveland shore or whatever, and they had to transport in a bunch of people from places that were not Cleveland, you would say this is ridiculous.
But they would never do the Cleveland shore.
Yeah, well, people would be incinerated because the Cleveland shore is on fire.
That's correct. Still, right now.
It wouldn't be safe to have the show.
2014, we still can't put it out.
But if it was safe to have the show, still, the point is it would be annoying.
A Thoughtseize here from Ben Friedman. We're going to take a look at the Thoughtseize on Jesse's side, along with a Hero's Downfall, a Tormented Hero, a Thrill Kill Assassin, Spiteful Return, 2 lands. So actually a pretty good hand here. And actually, we talked about for Jesse how it's difficult to Thoughtseize Ben's deck. I actually think it's difficult for Ben to Thoughtseize Jesse right now.
Well, the only thing that you're really trying to do is break up a spot in the curve here. And Ben can't do that because Jesse has something to do on turn 1, has something to do on turn 2, no matter what he does here. So
taking in 1-drop's a little bit risky just because Jesse's so redundant in his deck with 1-drops. As far as creatures are concerned, didn't draw one that turn. And here's the Thoughtseize from Newbold targeting Friedman. So Friedman has a Godless Shrine, a Temple of Silence, and then some removal spells in 2 copies of Devour Flesh and a Bile Blight.
And you can see why Ben took the Tormented Hero here, because he's going to kill whatever Jesse plays regardless. He'd rather get thought seized on turn 1 when his hand is really redundant, and this allows him an opportunity to cast the Temple. If Jesse gets, or play the Temple rather, without there being any pressure on him. If Jesse gets to play the Tormented Hero, then Ben either has to take 2 and kill it, or play the Temple, neither of which are ideal.
Temple's going to come in right now. Friedman's going to put that top card to the bottom before passing the turn back over to Newbold. And we know Newbold has a turn 2 play. What he found on his last turn was the land he's going to play right now in a Mutavault. And that's a big draw here. Along with the Thrill Kill Assassin that will be unleashed. Again, Newbold probably is assuming that this is going to die. This will be the first of many creatures to die. Galashran going to come into play tap. There's Devour Flesh to take care of the Thrill Kill Assassin. So Newbold will gain a little bit of life before we do head back his way.
Now, a real challenge here for Ben is he knows that there's a Hero's Downfall in Jesse's hand, so he can't just slam a demon on the table.
Yep.
He's going to have to answer, threat for answer here the whole way through.
Going to fire up a Mutavault here and coming across for 2. I'm not sure I love that play versus playing Spiteful Return and Deathrite Shaman and passing the turn back. I understand what he's trying to do with Spiteful Return, which is to get value out of it with Bestow, but I may have wanted to just unload there. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Well, he's seen so much removal in Ben's hand that he's unlikely to be able to really do anything of significance with the Spiteful Return. I like taking that opportunity to get in a shot with Mutavault.
Okay.
He's still advancing his board here, and he's not just curving into Ben's removal. When your opponent has so many removal spells in their hand, it's just important to get in your licks with Mutavault when you get a shot.
Friedman playing an Orzhov Guildgate for his turn and then passing the turn back over to Newbold. Newbold draws a card. Looks like it was a copy of Dark Betrayal. Of course, finding that balance of how much removal you're supposed to have at your sideboard is a very difficult thing to do.
For sure.
Because Newbold right now, again, has Hero's Downfall as an ultimate price. It's a Dark Betrayal and a Spiteful Return in his hand. So he's heavy on the removal, which is fine, but Ben's draw is mostly removal. So that removal that's in Jesse's hand is going to be there for a while. And Ben can probably overpower that eventually.
Well, the thing is, Ben's build is much more poorly suited to overpower the removal or pace the game correctly because he doesn't have access to Blood Baron. Part of the problem with the mono black aggro deck in this matchup traditionally is you're sort of pressuring them, they're killing some stuff, you have some removal spells. But if they ever play Blood Baron, the game's over. You can't answer it, and you're usually not quick enough to beat it before it comes out. Ben doesn't have access to that card. He's going to have to beat Jesse pretty honestly, either with Elspeth or just slogging through the removal spells, which is pretty tough to do.
Hero's Downfall took care of Spiteful Return. Then Friedman played a Temple of Silence for his 5th land and a Scribe before passing the turn back. Deathrite Shaman's going to remove something here. And in response to that, Devour Flesh will take care of the Deathrite Shaman. So now Newbold is without much of anything, even though he did draw a copy of Spiteful Return for the turn. So can play that, or could just take a shot in here with Mutavault. But I think you have to continue to develop your board in this situation.
I think it's really rough for Jesse here to get tagged with a removal spell on the Mutavault right now. Also, this opens up the play where potentially he gets a cast Spiteful Return, and maybe if Ben cooperates, gets to use the Dark Betrayal on something, which is really efficient.
Well, he does have a target now, Dark Betrayal finally. There is a Pack Rat. Dark Betrayal, incredibly efficient removal spell going after the way for Friedman to actually win this game.
And keep in mind, Ben knows that Hero's Downfall is still in hand.
Devour Flesh is going to take care of the Spiteful Return. So Friedman's out of cards. He's at a relatively high life total here at 14. That was a really big draw there for Jesse. Drawing another copy of Mutavault is huge.
Big deal in this spot.
Friedman going to have to take a draw here. Let's see what he finds. Again, creatures are no good. And even a card like Elspeth isn't great right now either.
Can't cast it. I mean, this is a tough spot.
Looks like Ben picked up a 2-mana spell, or at least bluffing one. It feels like maybe a Pack Rat was his draw. Haven't gotten a great look at the card, and it is a Pack Rat, so he's just going to play that and pass the turn back. Ultimate Price is going to get that off the table. Newbold's going to quickly untap, draws a Swamp for the turn. Going to play that, fire up some Mutavaults, come across here for 4. Going to put Friedman down to 8. Friedman going to play a spell right away. It's a Lifebane Zombie, show you a Hero's Downfall that you knew about. So Newbold will draw. It's a copy of Rakdos Cackler. I think we're probably going to see Downfall your Lifebane Zombie attack for 2.
I would rather attack with both Mutavaults, cast Rakdos Cackler.
Yeah?
Because the thing is, it allows him to hedge a little bit against Bile Blight.
Okay.
By trading. And leaving the Hero's Downfall left over does answer some top decks that Ben has access to. So I probably would have navigated that turn a little bit differently.
There's an attack for 4. Friedman's going to show a gauntlet trying to concede the game, so Jesse Newbold is going to win this match over Ben Friedman 2-1. Mono Black Aggro take it down over Black-White mid-range.
Traditionally a very tough matchup for Mono Black Aggro, but the absence of Blood Baron from Ben 75 means that he has to fight kind of fair in this matchup. The removal that Jesse boards into, the Dark Betrayals and such, they're going to answer whatever. Desecration Demon, Obsidat. So Ben really needs to get to Elspeth in this matchup, and that's much harder to do than getting to Blood Baron.
It looks like behind Jesse Newbold right now, a good friend of his looks to be Jason Ellis, I believe, who did top 8 with Mono Black Aggro the last time we were here. Around this area when we were in Providence a couple weeks back. So we do know that in this area of the country, there are players who do play Mono Black Aggro and are very successful with the archetype.
Yeah, there's been a lot of noise about that deck in the Connecticut, Massachusetts, that kind of PTQ area. We've been hearing about it, in fact, before Journey into Next even came out, that there was a lot of this going on in the area. So not surprising to see more of it here.
Congratulations, yet again, to Jesse Newbold, moving on to 5-1 and basically knocking Ben Friedman out of the top 8.
Yeah, this is no longer in top 8 contention.